My name's Michael Portaro. I'm the Assistant Principal at Melton Primary School. My role is primarily curriculum, so looking at assessment, instruction and just basic curriculum design, so looking at the ways in which our staff implement that curriculum to the best of their ability. So there's also a bit of a coaching element to my role.
Okay, and the final one here, I can explain how I could use this in everyday life.
So my vision is that all of our students experience success, so success at their point or at their level of achievement. So all of our students are placed on a developmental continuum and our students are taught to their point of need. Every year we're challenged with how we're going to pass data up to the next year level, or even before that, how we're going to track student achievement and growth. And these continuums were vital in that approach. And I suppose it brings about a consistent understanding and approach to delivering the curriculum. So if our staff are using checkpoints to deliver curriculum, at what point are they going to be teaching o'clock times? The minute hand, the hour hand, these things are not articulated in our curriculum. So it's really important for them to understand all of those developmental points along the way and where we need to be delivering that curriculum to our students. And so by creating these developmental continuums, we believe we haven't missed any element of that growth or that understanding within each of the content.
There are, how many people? 25 people on the train. Something full carriages of the 10s.
2 full carriages.
There are, which equals what?
1. Go.
What do all these people equal? 20.
The first part of developing the continuum was using multiple resources to fill in those gaps along the way, and then looking at what overlaps, what's not appropriate and what is appropriate. Because there's such breadth, particularly as the students move through year levels, it becomes quite difficult for teachers to cater and differentiate within the normal classroom environment, particularly when you have students who are in some cases working out and identifying a half of an object or a group, and then in the same classroom you have students who are multiplying fractions. In terms of the professional learning that has continued with our teams, they're given a session every week to sit together and collaborate. So during that time they talk about not just students, and they don't just examine student work or moderate student work. They don't just talk about lessons, but they share ideas, they share resources, and we talk about strategies and approaches to curriculum.
Have you looked at like dice patterns, so sabotaging through dice patterns and so forth?
So rolling dices and
that instant recognition that that's 5 and that one's 2.
You can start to do that.
So being the second year of our PLC model, our teachers are now finding areas to cover in the PLC model that they're finding it quite difficult to differentiate in their classrooms. So at the start of the year we've looked at counting as the basis of all number and algebra, because counting leads into place value, leads into addition and subtraction.
Over the last week we've been looking at writing the numerals, because we found that that's been a real struggle, and they're quite good at recognising the numerals and going, well that's a 9, that's a 7 and so forth, but in terms of correctly forming them, that's pulling them back.
No longer are our teachers hiding to their students what it is they're going to learn about and what it will take for them to be successful. So that's articulated in all of their lessons through the learning intention and the success criteria. And that way students can then look at that success criteria and look at what it will take for them to be successful in that lesson.
We are learning to count a collection efficiently. I want you to have a think about, what does that mean? Wowee! So have you been successful in our success criteria?
Yep.
What strategy did you use?
I used counting by 10s.
You did use counting by 10s, so you could build to 10 and bridge.
Whilst a teacher's delivering the same content within their classroom, they're actually roaming the room and looking at the strategies in which their students are achieving those particular learning intentions. So adding 6 and 4 is not just adding 6 and 4 anymore. It's about how students are doing that. And by roaming around the classrooms and having substantive conversations with all of their students, they're able to ascertain their point of understanding within that particular learning intention and move along the continuum of growth.
What are we doing here? We're finding a quarter of 60.
Yeah.
So how do we go about that?
First we need to figure out the How many times 4 goes into 60?
Is there another way we can do that also?
I think that the culture of mathematics has changed at Melton Primary School. Our students are really enjoying what happens in a numeracy session. So there's a lot of hands-on. Students know what it is they need to learn, so it's identified and articulated to those students. Above all else, I think it's really important that our students enjoy mathematics.